Why do I want to play this one in particular? What was it even called? Scorchfarer. Well, I want to play this one because I found it on Reddit. Not on Indie Gaming. Not on Twitter Indie Gaming even. Not anywhere on Game Dev or anything like that. I found this on so the subreddit Mexico. And it was just, hey, me and my girlfriend have been working on this game and it's going live soon. Of course, you've got to follow the locations that you want to keep in touch with. I still have, United Kingdom Reddit, Mexico Reddit. You need to know what's going on in the countries. And yeah, this one just kind of just popped up. I was like, I thought it'd be an indie gaming thing, right? Don't worry, it's small for me as well. I'll sort it out. I thought it would be like an indie gaming thing, and then I looked and slash Mexico. That's crazy. Okay, didn't expect to see anything like that. Whoa, that's loud. Turn that down a little bit. Right. We want this to be that. We'll get it full. Auto save at the start of every scene. Sure. Ambient volume and SFX volume. Cool. It's very cute. Apply. Let's see if that does anything. Hey-oh, here we are. Sweet. Alright, yeah, so just kind of out of nowhere, really. Might not have seen this any other way, so excited to try it out. Scorchfarer. It might be an RPG, which you already know I'm not a big fan of, but I just had to try it. You know I did. Gotta help. Gotta support the Mexican boys. A sheltered heart might not ache, but it will long for the mist turmoil, a mysterious torment that makes them wonder where is the perfect version of themselves. 9910. The Wanderer and the Anchor. Yeah, I saw this in the trailer. The first section. I'm not putting lips. Would you fuck me? I'm putting... It's like grease on my lips. What is it? Lip seal? 45 days in the infinite garden of Uzu. Birthmarks and prophecies. The man's finger moved across the spine of the books in his personal library. I think I'm using my... Enter? Space. Yeah, I don't need this controller in. Some of them had gathered dust from not being used in a long time. He had spent the last few years putting together an impressive collection that he was proud of, even though he didn't remember owning some of them. It looks to be a furry game, I won't lie. His black hair was starting to fade into its original snow-like colour. Beginning from the tips of his fox ears and tail. He was quite tall and had a thin build. The small apartment which he inhabited had a view from high above overlooking the mountain range. Such an unusual piece of land could only be man-made. Most, if not all, of his furniture was made of a fake, rigid material which resembled wood. The simplicity of his room was on his own accord, as not much was needed for him to entertain himself. This English is pretty much perfect, by the way, so I don't know if they just know English, or if they got someone to translate that, but good friggin' job. I can always tell a Spanish game. You can always tell they make when they're learning English but they don't know it perfectly. You can always tell there's like a couple of things. It's funny, and I'm sure it's the other way around where you can tell I'm a learner Spanish as well. There was, however, an impatient look in his eyes. He had grown tired of this place a long time ago. He found himself staring out the window often, but before going back to whatever he was doing. The sound of the clock on the wall near his bed was the only thing accompanying him in this solitary night. As the pile of books grew larger, his smile began to fade. He pored through the books that he had gathered on his desk, rereading the book titles every few seconds, checking their context on random pages. He scratched his head, not sure which one to choose. She's probably already read most of these, he said to himself, while crossing his arms, rearranged the books on his desk. His picks reduced to just 3. It was not until his desk had been properly cleaned that he noticed a faint glow coming from the contraption on his left. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. It's a bit loud for me. Turn a little bit down for you as well. A small rock encrusted in the side inside the machine was creating this glow. An uncertain expression appeared across the man's face. After a few seconds, he quickly discarded the books he had on his desk, piling them up with the others. He opened the lid of the machine and removed the rock resting inside of it. and pocketing it right away, almost right away. Soon after, the man began to grow impatient once more. It was not long before he was near the entrance and putting his shoes on, leaving his apartment without even locking the door. Oh shit. Do you need to lock your door in the Garden of Eden? I don't know the rules on that, but it seems like probably you wouldn't need to because, well, aren't you in paradise? But anyway, or the Uzu or whatever. Hey! There's rocks all over this bloody place. A double knock alerted the girl who was on the other side of the door. Yuki? She asked. We got a message. This could be it, Yuki said from the other side. I know it's late, but I really couldn't wait. I don't want to listen to it on my own. Michi. The door unlocked a moment later and slowly opened, revealing a rather small girl with pink hair. A message this late, she said slowly. A message this late? Yuki smiled at the girl the moment his eyes were on her. He couldn't help but feel happy whenever he saw her. I thought the same, but Yuki took the glowing rock from inside his pocket and showed it to her. If they sent it this late, it's probably important, he said. Yuki placed his forearm on the door frame at head level. I guess. Thank you for being so attentive. It is possible I wouldn't have noticed it a day after, the girl said as she rubbed her left eye. Ah, please come in. She moved out of the way and opened the door all the way for Yuki. Thank you. You look quite sleepy. I've always thought that robe was cute. Yuki said while making his way inside the room. While they knew each other for almost a decade, there was some tension between them, mostly from Yuki, as he always got a bit nervous when going inside of Michi's room. I can lend it to you if you want, said Michi with a mischievous smile across her face. Your knees probably get really cold though. Michi closed the door and locked it before following Yuki across the room. Why are they locking doors, mate? I thought it was just like these two in the world of tomorrow. I would look ridiculous in it. No thanks, said Yuki. He couldn't help but shudder at that mental imagery. Yuki stopped in the middle of the room, not knowing what to do. It smells nice, he said to himself. While looking around the bedroom, Michi walked past him and sat on the bed, inviting him to sit next to her. There's going to be a lot of reading. This is what RPG is. This is what RPGs are. RPGs is just reading 400 hours of something that you're not entirely invested in. You get like the main plot point, and then you get just kind of a lot of nonsense with RPGs. I feel like, I want to know what the message is about. And I know we're getting some like world building with the characters and stuff right now, but I'm saying in general, that's why RPGs are 70 hours long. It's not 70 hours of pure gold, let me tell you that. It's probably 2 hours of pure gold in a normal. I always attack at JRPGs because that's what I find them tedious. But this has only just begun. I don't even know what we're playing here. Maybe it's just a visual novel in retrospect. I'll have to find and figure it out. Yuki squeezed the glowing rock in his hand before taking a deep breath. He made his way to where Michi was and sat next to her, closer to the machine on her nightstand. This one was much smaller than the one he had in his room, but was made for the exact same purpose. He inhaled as he looked at the rock for a second, and then at the girl. Michi smiled at him silently as he placed the rock inside the machine with a slightly shaking hand. The prison box got to work. It began with the usual crackling sound it makes when trying to retrieve the messages within. Michi took her slippers off, raised her feet on the bed, and took a nearby pillow to keep her hands busy. Do you think it's bad news? She asked. Yuki had his eyes focused on the machine. His brain didn't process her question until a few seconds later. I really hope not, it's been so long. A voice almost interrupted Yuki, who quickly grew silent. This message is exclusive to Michaela and Yuki Haru. Terraforming Team Ikene. The voice came directly from the prison box. The quality was somewhat muddy, but it was perfectly intelligible. There was a short silence before the next statement. We are pleased to inform you that after some individual evaluation, you have met the minimum requirements for approval. Yuki's mouth opened a bit as if he was wanting to say something but couldn't. His expression was one of excitement, but he couldn't wait to celebrate he waited to celebrate before listening to the whole message. His expression wasn't of excitement. No. His expression was one of excitement, but he waited to celebrate before listening to the whole message. No. He waited to celebrate and continued listening to the message, right? Or he waited to celebrate after hearing the whole message, after listening to the whole message, not before. Okay, that was confusing. Michi, on the other hand, immediately grabbed Yuki's shirt with quite some strength. She clearly was not asleep anymore. Yuki, he said. She said, he's supposed to say. Michi thought for a second about what the man had just said. Are we really ready? I mean, am I approved? Said the girl with the emphasis on the I. Am I? It got me. Am I approved? Not quite sure how to put her thoughts into words. Yukiharu was quite excited as well, and took the hand with which Michi was grabbing his shirt, interlacing his fingers with hers. You will not be assigned to a city just yet. Wait for further instructions in the next few days, said the voice coming from a machine, who took a small pause before adding something else. Yukiharu, take care of Michi. I guess it's Miki. It's Mikhail? Of course, Yuki said to himself with a serene expression on his face. Yuki looked at Michi. I'm gonna keep saying Michi. After a moment. After 3 years. They both shared a hug, embracing each other tight. I can't believe it, we're actually leaving, said an excited Michi while keeping Yuki close to her. She gasped, suddenly letting go of Yuki. We have to tell the prefects. We also have to get everything ready. I'll start packing right away. Her voice kept getting faster as she squeezed Yuki's hand tighter with every sentence. The pair was so excited to finally leave the institute, where they became of age. It had been almost 15 years since they arrived at South Academy, which had started to become claustrophobic for quite some time. It's getting me, bro. I think we should wait for the next message, Yuki suggested. He said that they'll contact us soon, but we don't know when that'll happen. Packing everything up when we could get contact in a week could be a problem. Let's grab our most important stuff. Placed his forehead against hers. Promise me, we'll always have each other's backs, Yuki said in a calm voice. So this was made by a boyfriend-girlfriend pair, like a couple. So I don't know if these are just like self-insert fanfiction. Count on it, Yuki. I won't allow anything to happen to you, Michi said, quite confident of herself. Yuki nodded twice, looking quite happy about finally getting their team approval. He stood up and pulled Michi up with him, guiding them both to the balcony of the apartment. Whoa, that's a weird looking thing. From far away they could see the ominous glow of the Crimson Ring. A light refraction that can be seen hovering above any part of land that is magically charged. The perpetual flames give this phenomenon a red-tinted glow on the outside. It was a beautiful sight. It was also a reminder of the sad state in which their world is. They cannot help but feel respect towards it, though. The pair remained for quite some time, looking at the night sky. Even if the ring was a looming threat, nobody could deny its beauty. A threat? It sounded like it was a good thing. Or it was like, it showed that the world's magically charged out. Thank you for being my partner. These 3 years of wait have been in it. Okay, maybe the English isn't perfect. It's good, but now we're starting to run into some mistakes. These 3 years of waiting felt like an eternity. Now that we are leaving, it really feels like nothing. The time feels like it's flown by. It felt like nothing, said Michi before grabbing Yukiharu's hand. Yukiharu shook his head a few times. I should be the one saying thanks. We'll be the best terraformation team that ever existed. You'll see, said Yukiharu, who tightly grabbed her hand in return. Both of them looked back at the mountain chain. What? Michi eventually took a peek at her partner's face. She could see the confidence in his smile, mostly thanks to the fact that they were in this together. The Scorch. The game's called the Scorchfarer. Infinite walls of fire that cover this world, created by a cosmic event more than 200 years ago. The mark of the Magus is... the mark of the Magus is how it is called by the people. Yeah, okay. That's... I don't... I understand, but the apostrophe at the end there is confusing. Mark of the Maguses, because it's like they're owned by Magus. The mark of the Magus. Okay. She probably should just be an ES. is how it was called by the people that survived this event, supposedly as punishment to those who ignored the silent call of nature. The reason the fire rain was cast upon this world is still a mystery. A massive solar flare almost completely eradicated life in this world, eliminating more than 95% of life on the surface. Some places were left intact, thanks to magic or divine intervention. Just Mexico. Everywhere else got burned. Since then, the surface in this world has become an infinite firestorm. Nothing can survive the condition of these scorched plains. The gods have abandoned us. Almost nothing is left of them. It's late, I'm not bored. The beliefs in this world were divided in three main religions, all of them supported by the divine beings which had no voice in our plane of existence. The ambiguity of these celestial creatures led to different interpretations of what was the objective of these invisible forces in our world. After the fire rain, you could only hear murmurs of the gods. I thought you said you couldn't hear them when they were gone or whatever. In the wind that whistles through the valleys and the cold water of the streams, in every fruit that fell from the trees, we could still grow fruit. They left behind their temples and idols which remind us of their importance. Their presence is undeniable. However, the people in this world do not have time to stop and listen. There's too much work to do. Isn't that what got you in trouble the first time? There is a reality. This is a reality to which the new generation has been born into, which means that they hold no sentimental value of the old world. The Crimson Horizon, the aura created by the Scorchers, always existed from their point of view. While the old folk tried to decide which star is the one to receive the blame of our misfortune and the destruction of this world, the young ones are working to bring balance back. Okay, what? I guess my question is what? Which star is the one to receive? What do you mean star? What do you mean? I don't know what any of it means. It's kind of like, you're like world building, but I feel like lots being just like skipped, but not in like a mysterious kind of way. Just like, what do you mean? I don't know if that's actually what you're supposed to mean. You know what I mean? It's a little strange. Terraformation, the magic process through which infertile and abrasive soil is manipulated to sustain life once again. This world depends on this process to survive, not only to create more habitable zones, but to bring back magic balance to the surface. I'm telling you, it's late. Also, reading a lot is like, this is what it does to me on stream. Terra Magi. Terra Magi, a subclass of the Anti-Magi, the specialist in this kind of magic, and the ones responsible of healing this world, a dangerous job and often fatal. The Crimson Ring awaits. The Crimson Ring, also known as the Revenge of Moctezuma. Michi has been added to the journal. Great. They've both been added to a journal. We're gonna be able to do something in a second. First Flight, Chapter 1. Let me just check. Is this just a visual novel? It is a visual novel. There's no gameplay here, is there? Is there any decisions, or am I just reading here? I don't know. But it was made by Michiyuki Project. I'm gonna keep going though. We play all types of demos here, okay? Don't say we don't. Here she comes, look, Yuki screamed as he pointed at the sky. Michi noticed a large creature in the distance, its white scales reflecting the light from the sun, making it easier to spot. They were standing on the north platform of the South Academy. The floor of the platform, being made of transparent material, allowed them to see the huge drop under their feet. This platform was connected to one of the biggest entrances to the academy, which was carved on the exterior of a giant apple tree. Lupomo, one of the oldest and most respected institutes of the New World. Do you have everything with you? Yuki asked. I think so, Michi replied. She hugged her partner's arm as soon as she stepped onto the platform. She had never been good with high places, so she preferred to not look through the floor by keeping her head straight. I tried to pack everything I could. I think it's more than I should have, to be honest. Should I take out the clothes I put in your luggage? Maybe we'll just discard everything once we reach our destination. Yuki, help, I'm so nervous, Michi said, trying to keep her eyes straight on the platform. Yuki laughed nervously as he heard Michi show her restlessness. With a creature like that, I think we can bring all the luggage we want, Yuki said. The large creature flew over the platform before making a turn and landing on it. Yuki covered his face as the strong wind produced by its wings, sending leaves and twigs flying everywhere. A wyvern stood proud in the middle of the platform before making its way towards where they were. Whoa, bro. Whoa, shit, look at his shoulders. Fucking hell. It does not skip shoulder day. Look at that. That is madness. I don't know what this eyeball here means. Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's closed. Yuki moved close to the creature. He had been trained to ride wyverns during his academy years, so he knew how to approach them correctly. This was the first time meeting this one, though. So, I mean, obviously there's magic and stuff in this world, but they're talking about the world was kind of destroyed. Was the destruction of the world the start of magic, right? Was it like, it's our world, basically. It was destroyed, but upon that destruction, divine intervention kind of created magic, or, you know what I mean? Like, kick-started us using and understanding magic, and then magical creatures like wyverns came, and people became, humanoid furries. Or is it just the world was always like that, and then, it kind of almost got destroyed, but then didn't, and now they can fix it. Yuki moved close to the creature. He'd been trained to ride wyverns during his academy years, so he knew how to approach them correctly. The first time meeting this one, though, compared to the ones he had rode in the past, this one looked highly trained. As he came close, the wyvern lowered its mouth to smell Yuki. It huffed and allowed him to move closer. Yuki checked on the tag that was hanging from the right side of the saddle. Kita. It's a female, as I mentioned, 3 years old, Yuki said. As Yuki read the tag, he noticed the name of their terraforming group on the tag as well. This is the wyvern that was assigned to us, said Yuki as he stepped back to look up at the creature. The wyvern is almost 2.5 meters tall and had a very unfriendly face. Not very unusual for a wyvern, Yuki thought. I hope she can't smell fear, or she'll eat me, Michi said, looking at the creature a few steps behind Yuki. I thought she'd be so much scarier. Just look at her eyes. Do you think she likes us? She has to. She fixed her hair before speaking again. I remember reading that they're very proud creatures. Maybe we should have brought a gift for her. They're territorial, but not that much. There's only one way to find out if she likes us or not, Yuki said, moving closer to the creature once more. He began to stroke the side of her neck. The wyvern didn't move away. However, she did look back at Michi as if expecting her to do the same, like, yeah, Mitch, give me pets. Michi felt a chill run down her spine as she saw the wyvern look directly at her, like, pet me now or I'm going to burn you all up. The girl moved closer to the creature, extending her hand towards it. Hello, small one. You're our partner now. I'll take care of you as well, Michi said, followed by an inaudible sigh. I'll help you navigate your way. Yuki's not that good with directions, Michi whispered to the wyvern while smiling at the creature. What was that last part? Asked Yuki with a dumb expression on his face. Boom. Michi! What the hell? A very loud voice coming from inside the academy grabbed the attention of Ginny Potter. The attention of Michi and Yuki. The wyvern moved her head up and looked in the direction of the voice as well. A girl, even smaller than Michi, ran toward the platform. Is Michi really small? Because she's not that much smaller than that guy. She seems very tall, actually. So even smaller, maybe not. Maybe she just is smaller, right? On arriving, she grabbed Michi's hand, trying her hardest not to cry. Except for this girl, Yuki has already said goodbye to all his friends and acquaintances. He knew she'd show up, even though everyone else in the academy was busy. I made up my mind. You're not leaving, said the crying girl. I don't want to be alone. Yuki moved closer to the wyvern, which was puzzled by the screams of the girl. Once it realized she was not a threat, the creature looked back at Yuki. The man commanded the creature to lower its body so he could mount their belongings to its side. I don't trust Yuki Haru. He's a bad influence, she said out loud. How am I a bad influence again? Yuki yelled back at her while he was working on Kita. Kita's a funny name. The wyvern only looked back and forth throughout the conversation. I know I'll go with you, the girl screamed, ignoring Yuki's question. Ika, calm down. If it wasn't for Yuki, we wouldn't have gotten this far. Thank you for worrying so much, Michi said, embracing her in a hug. I'll be alright. We'll be alright. I'll tell you all about it whenever I can, I promise, Michi said, trying to calm her friend down. Ika slowly wrapped her arms in Michi, starting to sob slowly. After almost half a minute, they both moved away. Ika removed her glasses and cleaned her eyes with her wrist. Promise that you'll write to me every day, Ika said. Ika put on her glasses and took out a brooch. I hate how brooch is a spell. Brooch, but it's not. She handed it over to Michi, squeezing their hands together in the process. The brooch had an ornament that looked like the flowers that bloom from the apple tree of the academy. Every day without fail, Ika exclaimed. Every day, Michi responded. Even Yuki, right? Michi said, looking back at him. Yukihara was almost done with the wyvern, adjusting the straps to make sure nothing would fall off during the flight. I'm not really sure what I could write. Even less if it has to be every day. How about once a week? Yuki said. Eka frowned upon hearing that, looking at him with a bit of jealousy in her eyes. If I find out you touched her inappropriately, you'll feel my wrath. Okay, enter the anime shit. Ika screamed, making Yuki look back at her with a confused expression. What if she's the one that touches me? With a small grin on his face, he said. That wouldn't happen. She answered back, staring back at Michi, trying to get some validation for her words. I should get going now, Michi said. I can't help but see it's just the creators of this game. It just is fan fiction that they've written for their own characters, and not. It just is. It is. Look what's happening right now. You could see a bit of blush across her cheeks. A bit of blush across her cheeks. Yuki laughed a bit. The moment he saw Ika's face of defeat, the latter noticing how flustered her friend was. Thank you for the brooch, I'll use it always. Before hugging Ika one last time, Michi tied her hair into a ponytail and used the brooch to tie it. I left some candy for you in my bedroom, as a parting gift, Michi said. I'll eat them all. Tonight, Ika said. Alright, calm down. After getting Kita ready for their flight, Michi and Yuki got on their wyvern. Be careful, both of you, Ika screamed. Good luck. The wind currents created by the wyvern kept Ika from moving forward on the platform, made her clothes and hair move wildly. Michi and Yuki waved back at Ika as the wyvern lifted off the platform. Are you ready? Yuki asked his partner. More than ready. I've been looking forward to this for so long, Michi, said Michi, grabbing him tightly from behind. Are you really, little one? What? Michi said as he looked over Yuki's shoulders at Kita. Are you ready, little one? Ready. Not really, I think. I hope I don't fall, because if I do, I'll probably take you with me, Michi said. That won't happen, said the man out loud with a lot of confidence in his riding skills. He grabbed the reins tight and pulled them to the left, commanding Kita to turn in that direction. The wyvern made its way through the branches of the trees. It's just one giant apple tree, isn't it? The partially obscured the view around the academy. So, is this a visual novel? It's just literally just... Is it literally just a novel with visuals? Or are there decisions? Because I don't know if which is the most common thing. I know I've played visual novels where there were decisions. I don't think I've ever just played a straight visual novel that was a book, you know, but with images. I don't know if I've ever played that. We haven't had a single decision yet. I know we're still just getting into it, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's the case. Maybe this is just a straight story. I don't know if I'd like that. I mean, that's fine. Maybe, you know, if you want the artwork to go with it, I guess, but you know, put the artwork in a book. You don't need the leaves falling or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure it's submissions. We'll see. A numbing silence invaded their ears as they got used to the wind, moving through the sides of their faces. The couple could see the large mountain range on the horizon, and even further the infertile lands created by the fire rain. This charred land surrounded the academy in every direction. Their eyes focused on the skyline for a few seconds. Yuki pulled on the reins, causing Kita to make a turn so they could start moving towards their destination. Whoa! That's a cool picture. Also, kind of hard to read white text on a white dragon. I know there is some shadow there, but maybe even make that even easier to read. You know, people have partial blindness and stuff could really mess with that. You need to add all sorts of options, right, to your game. Like maybe you can swap the text black and white to the background can be white and the text black and opposite way around. Or I'm sure they'll think of that. Terraformation. The process through which infertile and magically charged soil is manipulated to rapidly heal and nurture life once more. The world depends on terraformation to survive, not only to create more habitable zones, but to maintain magical balance. A little over 200 years ago, an event on cataclysmic proportions took place. The fire rain, a massive firestorm was cast upon this world so destructive that in less than 10 hours most life on the surface was eradicated. We already read kind of that. Only a few places, which had enough time to prepare, managed to survive, even though some locations were left unharmed. More than 95% of life on the planet perished. Most of the survivors succumbed to their wounds, disease, or as a result of famine that soon followed. The magic that permeated these lands released large amounts of heat, making it impossible to get close to them. Nothing could survive the conditions within these zones. The old name of the continent became irrelevant, renamed Uzu. A few decades after the fire rain. Decades. And the old tongue of the continent, it meant survivor. You know, the academy was always kind of suffocating for me. To think that without it, a lot more people would have died, Michi said, holding her partner close. Thanks to it, we can continue to save this land. Yuki got serious right away. The sight of the charred lands was quite ominous. I think we should see it through different lens. Not much left to save on these plains. We can only start over. The academy started to look very small in very little time. Wyvern travel was quite fast. Yuki took the compass out of a bag that was hanging on the base of the Kita's neck. He handed it over to Michi so she would navigate them through the skies. For years, the communication between the magical academies, institutes, and cities that survived was cut. Oceans and large walls of fire made it impossible for communities to thrive. They put all their attention to an ancient technique that quickly turned into a priority. Terraformation became indispensable for life to come. It keeps like half cutting in, talking about this terraformation, and then half cutting back to the story, and then cutting back in. It's just kind of strange. After years of work, corridors were created that managed to connect cities. These corridors were long, terraformed areas that kept the flames from bursting out of the ground. The reason they kept their grim look was because of the thick ash from neighbouring charred plains. Even if the land was treated, the condition surrounding these corridors made it impossible for life to take hold once more. However, their main purpose was a success. The eyeball up there again, let's do it. Michi sighed. I always wonder how these places looked before becoming this. Could you imagine? Green and clean everywhere. People live without fear that the ground under their feet would kill them. We have to live this. The wyvern was very used to the burnt smell that came from the ground. It didn't seem to mind flying over these areas. Must have been a good life, Michi said. Paradise was taken away from them even before they were born. A world without war, nor hunger. Where disease was not that much of a big deal with how advanced healing magic was. The description was just too perfect for Yuki to imagine. He found it hard to believe such life could even be possible. He understood the nature of people. They are drawn to conflict after all. Yeah, exactly. A world without war is just impossible because everyone's a bunch of dickheads. 200 years after Fire Rain. The Fire Rain. Peace between both continents had started to dwindle. Even internal conflict in Uzu was becoming a problem. Been a few years since I've been to Foxtrot. Has it changed much? She asked. The city has always looked the same since the first time I visited. It's expanded quite a bit. People haven't changed at all. They're always so friendly and treat magic users with a lot of respect, Yuki said before looking over his shoulder. Michi hugged Yuki a little tighter. I don't think this demo was supposed to be this long. I thought I read on the subreddit that it was like 20 minutes, so we're killing it a little bit. We're dragging it on. Michi hugged Yuki a little tighter. Seeing you this calm while riding Kita really helps my nerves. You really are good at it, Michi said. Riding classes finally paid off, Yuki said. After a short silence, Michi spoke. We have quite some time to relax, only the three of us. Do you think we'll have to present ourselves to someone once we arrive, or will we be completely invisible to everyone? Invisible. Deep inside, she hoped for the latter to happen. Hard to tell. I know as much, sometimes I just read it and I feel drunk sometimes because it's kind of, just words are just randomly missing and stuff. I know as much as you about that, but considering that we've got, that we have to get one last approval, I think we have to talk with someone from the administration staff at the Foxtrot Tower, Yuki said. We'll take advantage of that wind current. Hold on tight. Yuki grabbed the reins tightly, showing a lot of confidence. I trust The girl screamed as she felt her stomach drop. Kita dropped from the sky in a sudden movement, the wind current pushing them further and making them gain quite some speed. Nobody ever would be ready for such a sensation, Michi thought as she felt the wind run through every part of her body. It's a terrifying sensation, but also one of her favourites. She felt free. Captain, I think I left my stomach back there, Michi said, trying to keep herself together. Yuki had a mischievous smile on his face. I've lost my voice already. I've been reading for 30 minutes straight now. Ika's been added to the journal. Right. Done. We got to the next part. After 5 hours of flight, that's like using a fucking plane. I thought we were on a goddamn dragon, dude. Thought we were going to be fast. After 5 hours of flight. And is there no teleport magic? Is there no, like, portal magic? I mean, okay. After 5 hours of flight, the pair were reaching their destination. A very deep fog was preventing Yuki from looking ahead. He slowed down. In case they encountered any other dragon moving in the opposite direction. Once the fog started to clear up, they noticed a very different view down below. The dead plains had slowly started to phase into beautiful, colourful landscapes. Cereals and vegetable fields started to become visible. Cocoa puffs as far as the eye could see. Corn was the main thing produced on Foxtrot. Cornflakes then. So the majority of what they saw was just that. There were farms all over the place and they could notice several other flying creatures moving around the area. Not long after they arrived at their true destination, a Bunsen burner. And it has like the flame icon from Avatar at the bottom of it, there in the big middle. Foxtrot, a city in the form of an irregular oval with a huge tower in the middle. It's not nearly as tall as the apple tree of the academy, but considering it was the biggest in the city, it left quite an impression. There was a river that flowed through the middle of the city, east to west. The population of the city was about 27,000 people, making it the 9th largest in all of Uzu, and the 3rd largest within the Shao Zen's administration. The Foxtrot Tower, being one of the few surviving buildings of the old world, became a place of importance in the continent. It also became home to Zhao, ruler of the Olum, the country southwest of Uzu. This made Foxtrot the capital city. This tower also became the first and most important headquarters of the Terra Magus in the continent. Michi and Yuki remained silent for a few minutes as they looked around the city from above. Their eyes eventually focused on the large tower near the middle of the city. It's much larger than I remember. Let's get some rest as we land, or at least Yuki-ta, Michi said while rubbing an area of the wyvern's stomach that wasn't covered by the saddle. And now she reached around there. For her reach around. Kita's breathing was heavy because of how tired she was. Carrying them was not a problem, but the length of the trip was pushing her limits. Yuki guided Kita directly towards the tower. Their instructions had been to go there directly. And that they would be guided from there. There were platforms at different heights of the tower. They noticed someone was standing near the entrance of the east platform. Near the top of the tower, Yuki thought he recognized the person until he confirmed their identity by landing. Your uncle. How am I not surprised that he's the welcoming party? Said a not so excited Yuki. Michi's uncle was talking with someone at the time, a conversation that didn't last long as they parted ways as soon as the wyvern stopped moving its wings. I thought he'd be busy with work at this time of day, Michi said as she waved at her uncle, who'd already had his full attention on them. She squeezed Yuki's wrist. I didn't think we'd meet him this soon, to be honest, Michi said nervously. He's the one in charge of the new recruits after all, so it makes sense, Yuki said. The man was already very close to them by that point. Michi, my precious little girl, said the man out loud. I like how her leg is in front of clearly what would just be her underwear, right? Over her bare ass. What an anime shot. The man took Michi by her waist and pulled her off the wyvern, showing her butt to everybody. Her security harness was still strapped around her, making the movement more awkward than it should. Uncle Vin, Michi screamed as she felt how she was being carried with so little effort. Vin didn't seem to care about embarrassing Michi like that, moving her in the air as if she was a little girl. His laughter was out of place considering the height and high body mass of the man. Yuki was not sure what to say. This was not the first time seeing Vin and Michi interact this closely. After wrapping her arms around his neck, a very surprised Michi spoke. I got so much to tell you. We were flying for like 6 hours. Yuki's such a great pilot, and I think that Kite is quite hungry. Her stomach's like rumbling, and Michi said she immediately got ashamed of the fact that she was acting like a little girl. I think we're ready to get our luggage and to present ourselves, she said in a much more mature tone. I'm pretty sure that this is Fox Boy's job, isn't that right? Vin said as he looked back at Yuki with a less than friendly stare. He just already hates her fucking furry boyfriend, of course. Yuki frowned at the man before slightly shaking his head. I think so, but who? Yuki said before being immediately interrupted by Vin. Bitch, come with me, we have something to discuss, Vin said, finally placing the girl on the floor and removing the harness. He started to guide her inside the tower. Michi and Yuki looked confused at this since they were convoked together. Michi stopped. There are only a few steps. Wait, but shouldn't we do that together? Did something happen? Oh, he's got red eyes, you know he's bad, Michi asked. Vin had already moved a few steps away from them. He turned around and looked at them for a moment, realizing that Michi would not go anywhere without Yuki. He finally complied. He's tall though, he's tall as shit. He's like a good 7 feet 2, right? Maybe taller. Come with me, both of you. Someone will take care of your luggage and Wyvern, said Vin. His attitude changed almost immediately, as if he'd seen something he didn't like. Michi grabbed her partner's hand. He doesn't like Yuki. Who would have guessed? We'll be alright. We are together after all, Michi said, squeezing his hand a bit. Her nervousness was quite apparent. It's just I'm not used to hearing him talk like that. Let's go, Michi said, after parting ways with him for now. Michi and Yuki made their way inside the Foxtrot Tower. I'm just reading. I've been reading for an hour. I've been reading for 41 minutes and 29 seconds. This is killing me. A very serious Vin was waiting for them inside the corridors of the tower. The structure was made out of magic-infused block, specialized in preventing and slowing down the natural decay of the materials, with the same property that had made it possible for Zhao to protect his place from total destruction. Vin took them both towards the highest floor of the tower. On their way up, they found several members from other terraforming teams. Most of the people in the headquarters are already people that actively work in the field, which made them especially interesting for Michi. I got a drop. Voice. The inside decoration of the tower was quite simple. But it was that simplicity that gave it a sophisticated feel. After reaching his postmodern, after reaching the top level of the tower, they found themselves in a long hallway with a single large doorway. It's not like a fire symbol, it's like a foxtail surrounded by flies. Unlike most of the other furniture, this door frame was made out of real wood. It was clear that the reason behind it was because it was one of the last surviving assets of the tower from the old days. That's a very funny looking door. Why is that door shaped like that? The one at the end of the corridor. What is that? Xiao Shen, we're really going to meet her? Yuki was asked, quite surprised. Slow down, fox boy. I was told only Michi could go inside. You'll stay here with me, he replied. Michi looked quite nervous about hearing someone arranged a meeting for, arranged a meeting with the ruler of Olm. For her. With her. I don't understand. Why just me, Michi asked. Vin just shrugged. Don't worry, she doesn't bite. Yuki approached Michi and said, I'll wait here. Don't worry, I bet she just wants to meet. Yuki was trying to find a reason for his meeting to take place so suddenly. Zhao has always had some kind of distance influence on our family, so there could be a personal reason for this, Vin explained. Alright, Michi said before approaching the eye. She's as friendly as you make her out to be, she said before going inside. Dead. She's dead. Already. Xiao Zhen. Who sounds like a used to his character. Good luck, Yuki said right before she closed the door behind her. Michi was struck by a weird smell the moment she went inside. A thick, sweet aroma coming from a golden bowl on the office's desk. With butterflies drinking from it. There's a fireplace on the other side of the office which was currently lit. The only sounds that could be heard were those of the fireplace and the pendulum clock close to the entrance. I gotta check. I got to check how long this game is because I can't keep reading for another hour. I'd rather go through the circle of whatever fire myself. what was it called? The circle, the Scorch circle. Blah, blah, blah. Scorchfarer. Let me check it. Oh, a post-apocalyptic visual novel we're releasing this month for free. Okay, so the game's coming out for free after 3 years. Scorchfarer demo is finally out on Steam. Here we go. Our own visual novel. We're hoping to release the full version for free around the middle of March. You can try the demo, but it doesn't say how long it is. Oh, it actually did go into indie gaming as well, but it's not where I saw it. I saw it in, specifically in r/Mexico. Yeah. I just wanted to know how long this demo is going to be. It's a really long time. Game. Where is in Mexico game. They just killed 15 people for a fucking football game. Oh, probably a bad time to be searching game, because yes, that did happen like 3 days ago. God damn it. God damn it, Mexico. Own game? What Scorchfarer? I'll never find it again, it's gone. Let's go back and just keep going. I'll keep going for 10 more minutes, then I got to stop. Hello, Mitchie said out loud, trying to grab the attention of someone. My name is Michaela. I just arrived at the city with my partner a few minutes ago. They told me to come in. Michi paused for a second. She heard an ember from the fireplace crackle. A voice grabbed Mitch's attention right away. Last time we met, you were just a baby. Please take a seat, said the voice coming from one of the chairs in front of the fireplace. I apologize if I'm a little abrupt. But do we really know each other, Michi asked, as she made her way towards the chairs. Michi took the other chair. She'd only heard descriptions of Xiao Zhen till now. That's the fox thing. Seeing her was a rare sight, even for the people within Foxtrot. A small white fox was lying on the other chair. Being a creature of such old age, it was expected of her to be resting most of the day. Her body was partially covered in bandages. Yes, but you certainly won't remember. I was one of the first few that laid eyes on you, Zhao said. The fox remained calm with her eyes closed, enjoying the warmth of the fireplace. You don't have to be formal. I wouldn't want you to be uncomfortable around me. Okay, Michi muttered with her eyes fixated on her white fur that stuck out from the bandages, reminded her of Yuki. Excuse me, did someone fuck this fox? Is that where Yuki's come from? Excuse me, could you explain what is happening? Michi said as she remembered how confused she was a moment ago. Does it have to do with my family? I can't think of a single reason why I would be asked to meet with you alone, Michi said. It took a few seconds for Xiao to finally respond. Your family has helped me across several generations. You could say I owe them my life. I have always felt that there was quite a debt on my shoulders with all of you, Xiao explained. Sadly, most of your family members have distanced themselves from what they represent. I took your upbringing as personal, which might sound quite baseless for me to say, since this is our actual first meeting in which we can acknowledge each other. But I would like you to know that I have been following your progress up until this point, Xiao explained. The fact you became a Terra Magi, doesn't surprise me, Xiao said. She remained silent for a moment, as if contemplating if her choice of words was the best. Michi kept close attention to everything that Xiao was saying. I welcome you to the most important job of your life. You are more than qualified for the job, however you will start from the bottom. Academy work is nothing compared to actually being out there. There is a problem though, your partner must be replaced, Xiao said without looking away from the fireplace. Based on his records, he has the potential to become a very good anchor, but a lot of people are not convinced that he is the right partner for you. This job is not a game. Could cost the lives of both of you in a second if a single mistake is made, Xiao said. Michi bit her lower lip as she heard what Xiao just explained. She held her hands together on her lap, fidgeting a bit. Why are you so sure about this? If we're not qualified for the job together, why would they call us here as a team? Michi said in a serious and pained tone. We decided together this would be our job. Everything that we've done so far, even if it's academy work we did together. I don't understand what I did wrong, Michi said. There was an uncomfortable silence between the two for a moment. Didn't you think it was strange after 3 years of waiting after graduation? A potential danger was seen with you teaming up with that man, so the people that are in charge of approving teams at Grand Cinch decided to wait it out, Zhao said in a relaxed tone. They thought you would get fed up with waiting, and you would ditch your partner in hopes that maybe you would have a better chance of getting approved, Zhao explained. Mitchie was on the verge of tears upon hearing that. She was ready to drop everything and forget about all of this. The interest to start you on the job was just too big, so they went ahead and approved you as a team. However, their attempts to replace your current partner are still in motion. While I'm in authority in these matters, it's still 1 vote against 9, Zhao explained. After holding back her tears, Mitchie took a deep breath and spoke. I heard something about it during our academy years, mostly after graduation, while we all wait for approval, talking and judging behind our backs. Mitchie stood up, ready to leave. I'm sorry, I won't do it. It's just not going to happen. If you want to send Yuki away, I'll go with him. There's no reason for them to think those things of him. We haven't even done a single real job. Even if it takes 5 or 10 years to prove ourselves, we'll stay together, said Mitchie. I'm sorry for wasting your time. You are quite different from the person that would walk into my office one day. That I thought would walk into my office one day, Zhao interrupted. The fox looked over at Mitchie. Even if I don't have the complete authority to approve your team, you happen to be inside my jurisdiction. This country is mine. So we can do something to get you started, Zhao said. This made Mitchie relax her body a bit. The idea that there was a possibility of them not being sent away was quite reassuring. These people at Grand Cinch wouldn't want to wait a decade for things to get going with you, so I'm reasonably sure if we manage to get you to do some works without them knowing, it'll build enough confidence in your partnership with him, explained Zhao. I'll take the blame for having these jobs done without proper permission. I'll assign you 1 task within Foxtrot. If you manage to complete it, I'll allow you to go on the terraforming practices that held the outskirts of the sea. Under supervision, of course, Zhao said. Thank you so much. I'd really thought you'd kick me out the second I stopped talking, she said. Please have some faith in him as well. I know what he's capable of. Don't get me wrong, I'm also divided on the decision. I also think you should get someone else, Zhao said, standing up on her chair. She struggled to stretch her body. The bandages were not there as a fashion statement. It is fair, because it's very fashionable. It is fair that you both are here while I explain your task. So, as Zhao said this, she slightly opened her mouth. A deep pink mist came out from her, quickly reaching the floor. It moved like a serpent through the floor of her office and slithered its way towards the entrance, moving through the gap under the door. A few seconds later, Yuki made his way inside the office. Hey! Vin raised his voice, trying to show some authority over him. Oh my gosh, she just tried. It's okay, Vin, close the door, Zhao said towards the man, who was poking his head inside for a moment. Vin just sighed and closed the door. A moment later, he realized what was happening. She just hypnotized him. He's just like, This fox is OP, man. We gotta take it out. There he is, Zhao said as she approached him. Yuki extended his arms and picked up Zhao. Oh my god, she just hypnotizes people and hugging her. This is fucked up. He made his way to the chair which Zhao was sitting moments earlier. Mitchie could see Yuki's eyes had changed colour. A common symptom of magical surge within his body is being manipulated by the fox. Pet me, Zhao commanded. Yuki complied by stroking Zhao's head. The expression was one of relaxed bliss. You have very soft hands, Zhao said. Mitchie stared at the scene, dumbfounded what was transpiring. Alright, we got 5 more minutes. Mitchie wasn't sure what to think of it. Felt like she was looking at something that she shouldn't. Is this something between foxes? You could have asked me. You could have asked for me to get him before turning his brain into a smoothie. Not sure he would comply to any tasks in that state, Mitchie complained. She couldn't take her eyes away from Yuki. It was quite unusual to see him do that expression. She felt a mixture of tenderness, desperation, and jealousness, yeah, of course. She wants pets all for herself. I know how she is. I know what she's like. Zhao laughed a bit. Don't worry, I don't like them this young. Zhao jokes as she notices Mitchie's stare. Man, that fox wanted to fuck that guy. I told you. Something's dodgy. He's half fox. Somewhere along the line, someone fucked a fox. Zhao blew on Yuki's face, causing the pink mist to come out of every orifice, dissipating in the air after a moment. Yuki blinked a few times and tried to make sense of where he is. Doesn't seem to have any idea how he got here, but his memory slowly started to catch up. Vividly remembers walking inside the office and stroking Zhao, just as if he were the remembrance of someone else and not his own. Tell me, why do you dye your hair? Zhao asked directly at Yuki. Michi? Yuki said in a strange tone before looking down at his lap to find Zhao on it. Yuki, do you feel alright? Michi asked. She wasn't quite sure of what to think of Zhao at that moment. She seemed like a totally different being from a few minutes ago, one with a very twisted sense of humour, yes. I think I'm good. Quite uncomfortable about the fact that Zhao was on his lap, considering how important she is. Pleasure to meet you. Yuki, is that right? Zhao said. Yuki nodded slowly once. Zhao jumped down from his lap and stood. Wait. Okay. What? I thought, what? Didn't you ask about his hair colour? What? Why do you dye your hair? Zhao asked directly at Yuki. Michi, Yuki said in a strange tone. Directly at Yuki. That's the guy. And he just hasn't mentioned anything. Pleasure to meet you, Yuki. Is that right? Yuki stood. Okay, so he dyes his hair for some reason. I thought if anybody who dyed the hair, it's the bright pink fucking hair, right? Come on. A pleasure to meet you, Yuki. Is that right? Zhao said. Yuki nodded slowly once. Zhao jumped down from his lap and stood in front of the fireplace, facing the pair. I need to corroborate something before we start, says Zhao. That you both are friends and only that. Oh man, this is too anime. It's like no, I'm not allowed to be, you know, playing hide the pickle, hide the chorizo. You got to fucking be just friends. Don't walk into the bathroom accidentally when she's there washing. Michi cleared her throat, looking back at Yuki right away. We are very close, but we are just friends, Michi said. She never thought that saying such a phrase could be that hard. She was starting to think that everything that happened in that room so far was designed to hurt her. Yeah, it kind of seems that way, which is very quickly designed that way. We knew each other since we first arrived at the academy. We've been best friends since then, Yuki explained with a fake smile. Michi noticed right away. Zhao looked back at them without any real expression, moving her tail from side to side. You both understand the Terra Magi's law, right? No relationships, it's dangerous, Zhao said. You can't allow your feelings to get in the way of things once you're in the field. Alright, so great. A nun and a priest are in love. I get it. Michi and Yuki remain silent, thinking of what Zhao just said. The Crimson Ring does not care about how strong your bonds are. It never has. I have lost so many good friends to it. No romance, no distractions, Zhao said in a very strict voice. How about they get together and they can make their own Crimson Ring? That's all I'm saying. Whoa! She relaxed her voice and spoke a final statement regarding the subject. I don't want anything bad to happen to either of you. I know I just met you, but I love you guys. Neither Michi nor Yuki knew how to respond to that. They were both clearly affected by the conversation. Once we finished the conversation with Fox, we out of here. We are conscious of the consequences and what could happen to us, Michi said. It was hard for her to put their relationship on a balance. Huh. Oh, crap. On a balance, I read. She understood Zhao's point and reasoning, but there was nothing she could do against her feelings. Yuki knew a talk like this would happen eventually, but no matter how much preparation it took, he couldn't help but be saddened by it. I'm happy that you understand. You must always take care of your partner, but you must always know when to run. Save yourself. I know it's hard to listen to, but it is true, Zhao said. There was a bit of a pause before the conversation jumped to a different matter. You know what? It just makes me want to play Haven. You guys play Haven? There's a game from last year of like a couple living on a different, you know, like they escaped a planet together because they were in love and they weren't supposed to be together. So they just went and did their own thing and they escaped together. It was awesome. It was a super cool game. And the game play wasn't like super amazing, but it was just so charming and relaxing and had some really cool elements to it. This is like the opposite of that. This is just like it's trying to just set all these random problems up that aren't even really an issue. Sure. I'm happy that you understand. You must always take care of blah, 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 blah. We can work together, Yuki asked with a slight overconfident smile. Let's take it easy here, Zhao said. First, I need a book. Vin has been added. Xiao Zhen has been... Oh, that was the end of the demo. We did it! It was an hour. The Wanderer and the Anchor. These are cute. These are very cute. Thank you for playing our demo. Now, here's the thing. We know that they like each other and stuff. It's so anime, bro. So anime. It's like, oh my god. It's too anime. Too anime. Ika? Who Ika? Is that Ika? What's this then? What's this? Michi? What's this blue thing? Shit, what have I done? Where's my crimson ring? What is this? The frig is this? Okay. What is any of this? Playing Where's Wally? Okay, no, that makes, I don't know what that is. So we're gonna add shit to the journal as we go through, obviously. That is, what is plus? Oh, plus means down, but cross means exit. That's not great. Oh no, wait. That means go up, that means down, and then this means exit? Are you kidding? Why would you, what kind of iconography is this? You lunatics. You can also just scroll. That's so anime, man. Maybe you'll really vibe with that, but oh my god. Like, written well, it was okay. It's you know, it's written. It's decent. Explaining the world and stuff, I don't know if it did a great job. It kind of went over stuff several times, but then also missed a lot of questions that you might have. The relationship, I really felt like the whole thing was kind of just arbitrary. Like the oh, you can't have a relationship. I'm an uncle and I don't like the wolf boy. I felt like the problems that they had were very immature, maybe. That's I'm gonna give that a 3. Solid, because I'm not one to give a fair judgment of visual novels. I'm not a huge fan of them. I like visual. If you're gonna be a video game, right? A visual novel with decisions makes more sense to me. This is a book with some pictures, right? This is a picture book. It's a digital picture book, which is maybe what a lot of visual novels are. I really don't know. I'm not like big on the genre. I played what game recently? Sucker for Love. You know, that was technically a visual novel. It had some decisions. It had a couple of gameplay elements, but I called it a visual novel. I rated it a 9 out of 10. A very high rating. I've only given like 4 or 5 games a 9 in all of the reviews I've written. Over 100. So, I mean, I do like some visual novels, but that one had like more decisions, it had more interaction, and the writing was really good as well. I don't know if I would play this one. I'd like to know the story, but I think I'd rather just read this in a book. I would rather be sat on my couch reading this. That's all I'm saying. But you know what? Some of the art was cool, and I wish them well. I hope they do really well. It's made by a couple here in Mexico, they said. So I mean, it sounds like just a nice project for this couple, right? That they've done it over the quarantine and stuff. I wish them well. Hope they do really good. It's coming out for free. So if you do like the look of it and you do want to know more about the story, add it to the wish list. Add it to the all wish list. It'll be out in like 2 weeks maybe, if all goes well. So yeah, good luck to them. That's Scorchfarer.